Did I spend money on a replica of a fictional cane? Yes. Am I worried about how much I spent on it? No. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus was developed by Sucker Punch as their second game. The idea of a thief raccoon that puts on a mask for whatever reason made them laugh, and yeah, I get it. It's like a hat on a hat. Sucker Punch was worried that because Sly was a thief and that this game was marketed to kids, that thieving would be okay, so they made Sly only steal from criminals, which, listen Sucker Punch, church it up however you want. You have a game where we're stealing and running from the law, sign me the f*** up. Sucker Punch is a company that I think hasn't put out a single bad game. Looking at their track record, I mean, between their first outing with Rocket Robot on Wheels on the Nintendo 64, to the original Sly trilogy, to the Infamous series, to the most recent Ghost of Tsushima, I have not seen a badly reviewed game from their entire library. So does that mean Sly Cooper holds up? Well, I've certainly been singing the Cooper gang's praises since 2002, but time to look at it from a more critical view. With that, let's sneak our way through Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. I guess I should probably start at the beginning. Sly Cooper is born into a family of master thieves and put all their skills into a book, the Thievius Raccoonus. Said that anyone who read the book would become a master thief. Gee, a game about stealing, breaking, and entering marketed at kids. Oh, but it's okay, you're only stealing from criminals, so it's fine. When Sly was set to inherit the book, 5 visitors came into the Cooper home and killed Sly's parents while he was watching, hiding in the closet. Why yes, this is rated E for everyone. The gang known as the Fiendish Five ransack the home until they find the book. The gang rips it apart and split up the pieces and go to different parts of the world. Sly winds up at the local orphanage where he meets his 2 lifelong friends, Bentley, the brains of the operation, and Murray, who's in this game is just the big oaf who drives the van. The whole segment is told to us in flashbacks because the opening segment of the game has Sly breaking and entering to a police precinct in Paris to steal the police file about the murder case. So Sly steals from thieves and police. Nah, it's fine, it's info on him, not like he could just ask for it nicely when you're a wanted criminal. Anyways, after liberating the case file, Sly goes to 5 different areas to take down each member of the Fiendish Five, while recovering pages from the titular book. Sir Raleigh the Frog being the first member, Sly and the gang have to take down. For each member, you get a little backstory before you go to each location. It's done almost like a Saturday morning cartoon. Honestly, for the first game, there's a lot of dialogue, but it's more entertaining moments than an overarching story. Kind of like watching a heist commence. It's something in like Ocean's 11, yeah, the story is in the setup phase and the climax. But throughout the story, you're watching interesting moment-to-moment segments throughout the heist, if that makes sense. Granted, the villains we take down, like I said, you have a former aristocrat turned pirate, Sir Raleigh the Frog, former run-to-the-litter turned bulldog gangster Mugshot, voodoo and personal nightmare priestess Miss Ruby, pyromaniac Kingpin and former firework artist Panda King, and the most mysterious of the characters, Clockwork. Along the way, you keep running into Interpol officer Inspector Carmelita Fox, who Sly has a bit of a thing for, and the two share an interesting banter. Sly hits on Carmelita by being smooth, and Carmelita responds appropriately to his advances by wanting to shoot him with her stun pistol and throw him in jail. The final segment, after getting most of the Thievius Raccoonus pages, Sly notices that his ancestor files, there's a big bird silhouette in the background. Sly, digging up what little info he could find on Clockwork, thinks there might be a connection, which, after they break into Clockwork's compound in Russia, they find that Carmelita followed them there and gets captured. Sly frees her, and the two work together to help take down Clockwork, which, as Sly is battling Clockwork, he brings up how he has been around for centuries, and that his hate for the Cooper family is what kept him alive. Sly brings up the fact that if Clockwork was so obsessed with the Cooper family, why did he let Sly live as a child? Well, Clockwork states that he'd hoped to face Sly now without the book, stating that the book is the only reason that the Coopers were so great and that they are nothing without it. Sly and Carmelita destroy/kill Clockwork, and Sly retrieves the last part of his family's book. However, Carmelita warning Sly that he is under arrest, but gives him a 10-second head start since he saved her life earlier. Sly takes the opportunity, instead of running, steals a kiss from the inspector, and then turns tail and run. Carmelita, love-struck by Sly's kiss, only to realize that he handcuffed her to the railing and took the key with him. As Sly leaves the active volcano base, he hears Carmelita curse his name in the wind. Sly and the gang drive away. Ending Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. I mean, like I said, there's some story segments I don't touch on, like what the villains are up to, because like they don't matter in the overarching story, but they are entertaining. It's an action game, so it has an overall story, but there are a lot of small moments that in a story synopsis don't matter, but it's where the game gets its charm.
Wow! You're a Cooper? You know, that Thingus Raccoonus had a lot of nice pictures, but way too many big words.
You can get some moments between like Sly and Bentley or even Sly and Murray. It does help define their characteristics. While not done the best in this game, it laid down the foundation for what's to come. Alright, let's get to the gameplay. Style, the game is marketed as a stealth action platformer, but the game is more of an action platformer or with some minor stealth elements, because while the stealth elements do help you get around and some areas do implement the stealth area very well, the more fun option is just to run around and take down enemies. Having this cane here, which is useful for grabbing on poles, swinging on hooks, and stuff like that, you can use the cane to literally bash people or break items. Using the game's action button, the game describes these thieving opportunities by these blue sparkling lights. By pressing the action button, you can hop on points, sneak around walls, grab poles, hide behind cover, run, or slide on rails. All of which adds to the gameplay and makes it a lot more fun to get there because you are able to really move around the levels. Sly feels really good, like he has a nice weight to him and he kind of has like this little balance as he goes to perform these abilities. Being an action platformer, the main MacGuffin being treasure keys is the main collectible, like the stars in Mario. They are needed to progress to the next area, like the shine sprites in Sunshine. So if there is a stage you don't like, then unfortunately you have to get better at them, and while most of the game is these linear platforming stages, there are some alternative game styles, like these twin stick segments with the different vehicles, or even this one hacking minigame with Bentley, which will return in later games. There are some turret escort missions, which thankfully are short and you have quick enough reflexes, you should get through them without too much of a headache. However, the driving sections with Murray are not really fun and have very annoying controls. The way you slide around and can flip over, also the boosters can be stolen by the AIs, and they're smart, and if you aren't lucky enough, you'll just never catch them. Like, if you aren't at least third by the start of the second lap, you're not gonna win. What else? Right, you can collect coins through the stage, either floating around or stolen from breaking the environment or robbing guards, which, when 100 are collected, you get a lucky charm and gives an extra hit, since Sly is very much a weak little boy and goes down in one hit. But the lucky charms can stack up to twice, giving you 2 extra hits before you die. If you have the golden lucky charm and you get another 100 coins, you get an extra life, and you can also just find extra lives throughout the world if you stray a little bit from the main path, which, luckily if you lose all your lives, is not so much as a game over, it's more starting wherever you were back at the beginning of the level, and it never takes too long to get back to where you were if you lose all your lives. The game also has that DDA, dynamic difficulty adjustment, and while I complained about it in the Crash video, this time they only give you an extra hit point when starting over, and if they're going to do it this way, it's fine, I think. Especially for one spot in the entire game. Miss Ruby's boss fight. Yeah, I know there's more points to bring up about platforming, but f it, I'm bringing this up right now. The other boss fights are all relatively easy, Sir Raleigh and the Panda King to be specific. They don't take a whole lot to take down. Mugshot is interesting because you can't hit him and it's more survive until he kills himself by interacting with the stage, and the final boss is a gauntlet of phases between shooting, dodging, and platforming. Definitely a memorable and interesting final boss fight, but what pisses me off is the f***ing Miss Ruby section. I have died and game over so many times at this section, I know the whole banter between the two. Why? It's a rhythm section. Don't get me wrong, it's done well and it's fine for what it is, and while I'm not amazing at rhythm games that I can get by, but sometimes I swear I press the input either too early or just too late and die. And this is a 3-phase fight. You have to dodge her mojo magic and get to her, and since if you mess up once, you die. And yes, you can bring in extra hits, but if you die, you are back to 1 hit point, which is when the game's DDA takes pity on me and gives me extra hit points even in the middle of the boss fight. And because the boss fight gets faster and faster, and when you die right at the end, only to play the slow beginning again, or worse, game over and go through the same unskippable cutscenes, is enough to make anyone tilted. Okay, tangent aside and going back to the platform, there is another collectible to get in the stages, and that's the clue bottles. They are located throughout the stage, and when you get all in the area, you get to open up a vault and get a piece of the Thievius Raccoonus, or in some case the boss layout to find the other clue bottles in that world's level. But all the abilities scale, and by that I mean no matter where you open the first safe, it's always the first power-up, and doesn't matter which order you open them up, and it's usually the third safe in that world is the layout for the blueprints. One of the blueprints just allows your Binocucom to see a little description of the mooks in the game, which is kind of funny, nothing too crazy, but nice attention to detail. The other power-ups range to rolling, decoys, and mines. to things like slowing down time or speeding it up, which the speed up helps when you're combing through a level to find clue bottles. It does help kind of like speed things through. To other power-ups like coin magnets to and upgrade your invisibility, allowing you to walk, which if you use the speed up function allows you to BS a few stealth segments. To bottomless pits, no longer causing you to die or water hazards killing you. And the last save you actually can't even open until you've beaten the game's final boss, because it says it's Russian written in OWL, which is where the final boss is located. This power-up allows you to stun all guards in a level for a few seconds, which I never really used because by that point you've done everything in the game. Well, except one thing, which is the Master Thief sprints. So beating the game, you get the ending. Opening all the safes gets you the true ending. And a cool anime opening cutscene for Sly. And the last challenge is the Master Sprints, which, while unlocking more commentary in movies is a nice reward, but honestly, I tried these time attack modes, but they aren't like normal ones. Instead of doing it in the best possible time, you have a set amount of time to do it, and you have no room for error. And I've only gotten close, but the main game is enough for me and is a nice bonus for those that like it, but not for me, man. Especially since failing a thief run does cost lives, so nah. With all that said, does Sly's first outing with the Thievius Raccoonus still hold in this day and age? Yeah, Sucker Punch really nailed it, making an interesting character, amazing controls, and stellar writing that I think should get some kind of port to the next-gen consoles. Because as is, you can only play this on the PS2 or PS3 with the Sly collection, but it's not too expensive of a game to get, so it's definitely worth a play if you haven't given it a chance. But before hopping to the next Sly game, we're gonna hop over to Naughty Dog's new platformer on the PS2, Jak and Daxter and the Precursor's Legacy. But hey, you made it to the end, so maybe you liked the video, or if not, tell me in the comment section below, and go ahead and make sure you tap that subscribe button and smack that bell to know when the next video is out. Make sure to check me out on the Bluebird, the Purple Box, and the Nostalgia Cam if you want to see more of my art, as well as whatever updates and gameplay I'll be giving in between reviews. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys again real soon.